All right, welcome everybody to Traction Thursday. It is my pleasure to introduce Ray Guillermo, who is going to talk about dessert mixologist. So let's welcome Ray.
So I am actually one half of the dessert mixologist. My business partner is actually Lori Popick, and we have been lifelong friends. We met at the University of Northern Iowa when we both joined a sorority. So fast forward, we've had wonderful careers, hers in the finance piece of it, marketing, retailing with Verizon. I actually worked for Cargill for 25 years in the area of product development and food science. So 2020, I know you're familiar with what happened there, COVID, right? So I decided that I didn't want to do development work for Cargill any longer. I actually develop products globally in the breakfast space. So anything that you would see in the marketplace, from benchtop to commercialization in egg products, that's what I did. So 2020, I decided to take a sabbatical and left Cargill because I didn't know what to do anymore. I didn't want to develop anymore for eggs. So, oh, goodness gracious, sorry. I got going here, a lot going here. Okay, so I actually decided, I took a year off, and Lori and I were actually visiting when she comes up to Iowa, and we were just sitting there over a glass of wine and dessert and decided, you know, do you want to do something? Because she also took a year off of after work and wanted to do something. And we both said, what do you want to do? Like, we both looked at each other and it's like, I like to develop, I like dessert, she likes wine, why couldn't we do something together? So that's how that came about. So really, a lot of it had to do with where we are and oh my goodness gracious. Okay, sorry. All right. So we actually established this company in December 22. But that was really just the starting point. We actually had some great help with SBDC, Small Business Development, as well as RBI, the Rural Business Initiative. They have been very instrumental with us getting this project up and running. Because the whole idea was, is this something viable in the marketplace? And part of it was, is it? So we actually did some insight research, figuring out what it was, is this something we could do? And one of the things I like to tell the story is my friend Dave, who is a serial entrepreneur, I said, Dave, what do you think about this idea? Is this something that you see in the marketplace? It's like, Ray, this is something that is so simple, it's out there. So the next day he called me back. He said, Ray, there's nothing like this in the marketplace. Because sometimes the most simple things are things that don't exist because it seems so simple. So we actually wanted to prove that process and figured out, is this something we wanted to do? So we actually went to the Fancy Food Show in New York, one of the largest marketplaces where you would see a lot of these type of innovation and new ideas for this marketplace. And we saw a lot of snacks, a lot of popcorn, a lot of peanuts, a lot of pretzels, a lot of different cheeses and stuff, but we did not see anything like this in the marketplace. So this kind of gave us the thought process, okay, we need to move forward. So we probably got our business plan started, and we decided that we like to refer to as the 3 C's. So the idea was we wanted something customizable, we wanted something that was convenient, and something that we would like to celebrate. So the whole idea was that we have had a lot of sadness in our life with a lot of my sister dying of leukemia and lymphoma, and 2 of our twin friends out of sorority also passed away with leukemia and lymphoma. So we wanted to use this as a platform to utilize that. What we wanted to do was also for celebrations, because you can celebrate it every occasion. So we came up with 2 products, chocolate and vanilla, knowing that these things are very customizable and you can do whatever you like with it. And our product tagline is mix it up. And so these are our 2 products that we launched actually in December 2023. It took that amount of time to get our production running. We're an Iowa-based product, so it's our co-packer is in Iowa. One of the things that I've learned when I was in with Cargill is that you want to get professionals to do things that you don't want to do in the back of your house. And I really didn't want to take the responsibility of taking food safety and all of that to ensure that we can get this launched faster rather than later. Okay. So the market opportunity that I just covered was really, there's nothing like this in the marketplace. The whole idea is that you combine with booze, whatever you like. And this product is really, you don't have to have booze, but that's who our marketplace is. Because what we've found is a lot of the ideas, we've been to several conventions now and a lot of pop-up events. A lot of the booze and winery and distilleries, apparently alcohol consumption has gone down globally. And I guess wine in the state of Iowa has gone down as well. So we are actually helping the alcohol industry. Aside from just drinking, what else can you do with the product? So that's where this came about, and that was our solution, is having a easy-to-use product that you could use for booze or whatever you like. Oops, sorry. Okay, so talking about this as well is really, it's just the whole idea is that you can use this with your favorite alcohol as well as mixing it with your friends. The thing about this is it's easy, and it's easy to use for using one-of-a-kind treats because it's very customizable. Whatever you like, you can put in there. And today I actually made desserts with kombucha. The rishi, cherry ginger, rishi, right? Kombucha, and then I actually did the spirulina with the chocolate. So I think it tastes good. So what we like to call is the simple 3 M's: measure, mix, and microwave. So you can have desserts in less than 6 minutes. So this is kind of a different thought process when you think about baking. But we have proven that it works over and over again. We've done a lot of work on it. These are the 3 products that resonate every time we do pop-up events or shows. These 3 cakes are the ones that people love. So the lemonade cake uses vodka, lemonade, and you just mix it up. It's as simple as that. You can have this done as quickly as you can get that mix. I actually did a presentation last week at the Iowa Eats Festival, and we had a 30-minute presentation. I was able to get 3 cakes done in that amount of time. So easy and easy to use. So I know this is supposed to take 30 minutes, but so what's happening is, what we've found is through collaboration between wineries, distilleries, and specialty boutiques and breweries, we found that that is a market niche that has not been tapped. And that's what we're finding out more and more as we're visiting with customers and visiting with potential customers, that this is a really cool thing. We actually use pickled creek herb with their vinegars. So it acts as another ingredient, and then their specialty olive oils. So a lot of these things that you have that you like, it's as simple as adding it to the mix and then mixing it up and then giving your idea. It's customizable, and it's really becomes your creation. And that's what we wanted to do. So thank you.
So Ray, you gave us a lot to think about.
Yeah.
A lot to think about. So if you were going to take your experience before in industry and then overlay it with what you needed to do, step us back through those steps again, because I think it's worthwhile. There's some generalizable principles there you've talked about. And so just step us through from conception to what you had to do, and then what you had to do, and what you had to do, just so that we can see the kind of the sweep of how it all happened.
So the whole idea was, we had an idea. So an idea to conception is really the most difficult part, because trying to figure out where that fits into the marketplace is the most difficult part. We actually met with SBDC in Ottumwa, trying to determine, is this feasible? They have so many resources, and we've had so many mentors in trying to develop that process. As we develop that process, it was almost, it's that networking and then connecting the dots as to where this fits. And as we were working with Kelly Prickett out of SBDC there, she connected us to RBI, the Rural Business Initiative out of Iowa State Extension Office. And they actually helped us move it along because we utilized them for 6 weeks as mentors. I mean, they had such a wealth of information, knowledge, and just that in general, whatever you needed, we could network with them. And then just, as basically, is this something we need to move forward with, or is this something we shouldn't? And as we figured out that piece of it, they were there along the way to help us, guide us as to which direction that should be. And when we were trying to find co-packers, they were there as well, because that is part of their service in terms of helping entrepreneurs like me or like you to develop that process further. And after that, we were able to get a lot of these connections connected. Basically, it was just, our network just started to, it's like a drop in the water, right? As we figured out what was next, it would just kept expanding. And that was the fun part about it, is where do you fit? You can find that as you grow. Did I answer that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's even more, but yeah, that
was
a great start.
I'm curious explain how your distribution network was built and where your strongest outlet is right now.
So right now we are online. I'm the distributor. So we actually are utilizing a warehouse out of Ottumwa through SBDC. They've got an REC, I can't remember what that stands for. It's outside, it's SBD, they have offices there, and they lease it as basically an incubator, right? So we are utilizing that for the short term because we weren't sure what we're doing yet. And so we had someone talk to us about, you should do the distribution first to understand that process before jumping into having someone else do it for you. So right now we're online, and then we distribute from there.
So no physical outlets at local markets or anything yet?
No. We are actually working with a couple boutiques and a potential retail store here, probably launching end of May.
Oh yeah, we've already talked.
One of the biggest challenges startups have when I work with startups is funding. Could you just briefly talk about how you got funded and how you managed to pull this all together?
So currently we are bootstrapping all of our funding right now. There was a meeting earlier this week through SBC in regards to what type of loans are available, or collateral loans, I believe. We are actually going to apply for a TSB, a targeted small business loan, to move forward with that piece of it. Because what we know is that when you get to a certain point as an entrepreneur, this is where you scale up, and that's where monies are going to be very difficult to get. So understand that process and start reaching out. Actually, we actually got a lot of this information at the beginning to ensure that when we're ready to go.
Other questions? Denise?
Two questions. One is, who mixes it up for you? Who makes the product, the physical product?
So we have a co-packer in Des Moines that we utilized. It's very difficult. They are the only actually co-packer in the state of Iowa that does dry mixes. Specifically these type of mixes with the scale that we wanted. They can scale up, but small business like this is very difficult to find.
I imagine. As a consumer, forgive my ignorance, but when you mix it up and bake it, the alcohol in there, and in other situations where I've been baking, like in pies or whatever, the alcohol burns off. What happens with the microwave? Does it retain its alcoholness?
Alcoholness. So that's a funny question, because a lot of the distilleries we work with, specifically whiskeys and bourbons, they want to know, is this stuff going to taste like whiskey and bourbon once it's been microwaved or baked? Yes to that. because it's in there for less than 5 minutes when you bake it. The longer you let that cake sit for, an hour to 2 hours, the alcohol flavor comes out even more. That's the fun part about it. Yep.
I'm not talking about the flavor, I'm talking about the intoxicant.
We haven't done that. You can taste it. Definitely taste it.
Taste it, but is it intoxicating?
You're going to find out.
That's right. Breathalyzer at the door. We're collecting keys. Question, I also own a bakery in and of itself, and we always get the question, shelf life. What's the shelf life of your product?
So the shelf life, we just finished the shelf life, it'll be 1 year. Because it is a dry mix. You just have to put a shelf life on there, but it's been tested in multiple scenarios to see what, if it's too hot, too cold, moist, and all of that. Since it is a sealed bag, product hasn't been opened, it extends to 1 year.
Okay, then once the product is baked or microwaved, what's the shelf life of that product?
Typically, it's gone. So, it's 5 minutes. Yeah. We just actually were working with a boutique earlier this week. She goes, yeah, my husband and I polished it off. No judgment. You can eat it all if you want, but it serves 8.
Okay,
Yeah.
serves 8, and
Yeah.
you refrigerate it afterwards?
No.
No refrigeration necessary? Okay,
No.
fantastic. Other questions?
I have one quick question. Because I come from that background, I just wanted to know, since you're operating entirely online marketplace, how easy do you find it operating from the online? From the perspective of you're manufacturing yourself, labeling yourself, and distributing yourself, do you do all that in a single platform? Do you use multiple platforms? Is that overwhelming, or you find it too easy, or what is the platform that you're using?
I'm not sure what platform you're referring to. Oh, so, okay, okay, thank you. We actually are working we set up everything through Shopify. So it's a wonderful platform. You can get everything set up in there. We are not going to be, what we're aiming towards is the wineries, distilleries, and specialty boutiques will be the ones that will be carrying our product. But we will not have a brick and mortar store ourselves to sell that product. It'll be through someone else. Did that answer?
Oracle or SAP to manage your entire manufacturing process?
Well, we've only run 3,000 cases, so yeah, we'll have to answer that as that comes through. Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was.
No, you're fine. That's right.
Where you're at.
You're fine.
Other questions? David?
You say you're one of a kind now,
Yeah.
but if your idea is as good as you think, you won't be for long.
Exactly.
So are you planning for competition already?
Yes.
Would you say how?
So it's all about fast followers. When I actually developed products for McDonald's, McDonald's was never the first to market. They were always fast followers. So I guess I forgot to mention, this is a plant-based dessert mix, and it's also dairy-free. So the whole aspect is it's that combination and baking it through the microwave really helps that product. So yes, we are preparing for that. So we're trying to utilize as many outlets as we can to get product into the marketplace. Because one of the things we wanted to look at was actually looking at a provisional patent. And one of the things that we decided upon is we wanted to use this as a trade secret to maintain that process so we can get that in place. Because once you have a patent, that's public domain, right? So for the short term, it is a trade secret. We do have our logo trademarked. So.
Thank you for answering. That was my follow-up question to David, is what are you doing to protect your trademark? And, so you've been in business for how long again?
Month 4.
So month 4.
Yep.
What was the biggest hurdle that you felt, the biggest aha surprise you experienced as a entrepreneur?
Patience. So a lot of it has to do with it's not your timeline that you have to wait on. It's someone else when you do co-packing. And one of the things that we've realized is, sure, we want the product here, but we're at the mercy, or really, we have to wait in line, right? Because we're not providing them a large volume yet, but we know it will be in the future. But it's all about patience, really giving that thought process time before you move forward. And I think that's the hardest part for us. The distribution and all of that actually fell into place. And I think we were very lucky and actually had the right people in place in order to get that done. But it was really because you are utilizing a co-packer, that is what you have to wait for, is for their timeline versus yours.
So with that being said, what advice, if everybody in this room wanted to start a business tomorrow of any walk, shape, or form, what advice would you have for burgeoning entrepreneurs as they consider embarking on the wonderful adventure of starting a business?
Well, if I can do it, I had no thought process of doing this at all. But I think you have to have that passion to really want this to create, because it's the whole idea. Is this something that you can move forward to the next step? What we didn't realize when we embarked this, my friend Lori, it was that, oh yeah, this is simple. We wanted something fun. That was one, we both retired from careers that we'd been in 25 years. We wanted to do something fun and something that we could learn from every day. You'll learn everything a lot every day. There's so many ins and outs, but one of the things is if you have an idea, go for it. I mean, it's just a process of ensure that you have your networks in place and really reach out to the people that you think are in business, and if they're not in that realm, reach out to get their advice, because it's really what we've been found is that even though they're not in the right field, get that information from them because they can help you. It's really about connecting the dots.
Have you ever had to, in your journey, disconnect from a dot, fire a dot, divorce a dot? And how hard was that decision? And if you can share the decision, and how hard was it? And tell us a little bit about that.
We divorced a dot very quickly. We were developing our website, and their ideas were not, it was their ideas, and they were not taking into account our ideas, and they kept moving us towards something that we didn't want. And it was very clear that we either had to leave or follow what they wanted.
Okay, and so you stuck to your guns
Yes,
and said,
we
this
had
is
to.
not what we want.
Right.
This is, okay, very interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting. Other questions? Here we go.
Hi, I have a two-part question. One is, how are you getting your traffic to your website if you're only doing online sales right now? And are you planning on going to any trade shows for food to get those wholesale accounts?
So what we've been doing the past 2 months, we actually was really cool. So back in February, we had a really cool event. We actually went to the American Craft Distillers Convention in Denver. So that pulled the traffic from all over the country. In regards to whiskeys, basically any hard type of liquors, they were there. We actually got some really good contacts there and started working with them. Online, we wanted to ease into this because we didn't want to get overwhelmed with what we had, knowing that we have limited amount of inventory. So online presence right now is through Instagram, Facebook. Other than that, we don't have anything on there yet.
And so it's all organic. You're not doing any paid ads.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
Have you do you have an exit plan for your business, or is this gonna just do this till you die?
No. So the whole idea is, the whole process is probably in 4 years, we evaluate it and sell. Yeah.
Do you have any intent to bring on investors or strategic partners coming from your background at Cargill, correct? Mm-hmm. Having strategic partners is instrumental in corporate growth. What thoughts have you given to establishing some strategic partnerships?
Currently, we haven't had any strategic partner thought process yet. What we wanted to do is really see where we came in, and then probably year 2 evaluate that.
And what do you see, looking ahead at, let's say 2 years from now, you will be firmly established. What are the biggest hurdles that you envision for the next 2 years that will either slow you down or will require a little different, some resources and brain power to surmount?
Exactly. It's resources and brain power, because a lot of it, there's 2 of us, and one lives in California, one lives here. And she comes here often, or Lori comes here often to do a lot of this, because what we want to do is organically grow here in Iowa and then move out. So because we are locally, we're locally sourced, we're Iowa produced, we wanted to do that. We're actually on Shopify Iowa as well, and we're not seeing a lot of traffic on that yet, as they tell us yet, right? So it's all about patience again. But I think, resources is we're going to have to hire more people, specifically marketing distribution, in order to move us to where we want to be. Because we can't be all things anymore.
Right.
We can't utilize all of our brain power being everything as we grow.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Other questions? All right.
The Dessert Mixologist.
Couple different things. Did you already say how many more products you're going to be bringing on or adding to the lineup?
What's interesting is every time we go to trade shows or pop-up events, the one question that everybody asks, do you have gluten-free?
Yeah, that was my question.
So that is in the pipeline for development. Okay. We know chocolate and vanilla are standard, and that is, you can utilize, is very customizable, but gluten-free is the next one we'll be looking towards.
And do you think your customers are going to be interested in, organic certification or anything along those lines?
The people that the pop-up events really haven't asked that. Mm-hmm. The question is it gluten-free? Right. It really hasn't had to do anything with organic. Yeah.
And then we should talk about a good wholesale website that will basically get your product into all different types of specialty stores.
Right.
Okay. Very good. One last question. Any last questions?
Yes. Yes to all of the above. We actually used, so I did a cherry ginger with a kombucha, and then cherry pie filling on top as a topping, and then added cherry juice to that. And the chocolate one is actually the spirulina, the kombucha, and then used coconut cream, and then mix that together. And then it's basically a chocolate coconut cake. So.
I presume you could chop up fruit or whatever you want to eat.
Yes.
Whatever you want.
Yes.
Bob, can we have her back next week to bring more desserts?
I think she could be a
very popular. All right, let's give a warm thank you for a wonderful, wonderful presentation. Congratulations on your success. This is great. This is great.